What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bubba Cast. I am your co-host, Zerpy. The Bubba Cast is the one and only podcast dedicated to the in-ring career of Mr. Ray Traylor, aka the Big Boss Man, aka Big Bubba Rogers, aka the Guardian Angel. And I am joined, by always, as my co-host. I cannot get this intro down, no matter how many times I do it. I am joined by my co-host, as always, Lacey Traylor.
Sup, Bubba?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I watched a podcast today called The Question Mark.
Oh,
with a
did?
special guest, Lacey Traylor. Very awesome. That was a fun podcast. So check out The Question Mark on YouTube.
Efren is a fun host.
Yes, it was very fun. It was fun seeing you have to come up with answers to questions on the fly. You didn't get time to prepare, so it was all pure, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you.
I thought you did a good job. I'm also going to remind you to talk into the fucking mic this week.
Oh. Okay,
I'm joking.
No, you really have to get like that. You really have to. You already know by now. You have to give it to me straight sometimes.
Because I don't hear it live when we're recording, but when I'm in the edit, I'm like, Lacey needs to talk into the mic.
It's that pacing thing I do. Like,
oh yeah. No, I
need to stop.
We are two podcast hosts with ADHD, and it's hard to keep us
unmedicated.
On track. Unmedicated ADHD. I'm surprised we're able to get anything out.
Yeah.
So, but this week, I teased it on the last episode that it's time that we need to start focusing on pay-per-views. And so I mentioned this pay-per-view on the last episode. We are covering WWF SummerSlam 1991. The match made in heaven and the match made in hell.
Man, also, I'm so glad that you chose this one.
Yes, the Jailhouse Match between Big Boss Man and the Mountie.
It couldn't have timed out better.
It's great because so the stipulation of the match is whoever loses gets booked and spends the night in jail. And this is a New York City jail because this is 1991. SummerSlam 1991 took place in Madison Square Garden in New York City. This was August 26th, 1991.
Oh, to be a wrestling fan in Madison Square Garden.
Oh my God, it's
in 1991.
Yeah, dude, the place was packed too. It looked awesome on TV.
It was packed.
So of course, this is billed as the pay-per-view is billed as the match made in heaven and the match made in hell. That refers to the match made in heaven is Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. They get married on this episode.
Whoa.
On this SummerSlam.
Well, just last episode on the Bubba Cast, we covered
we're going back and forth with this
love triangle
relationship between
Tumultuous.
Macho Man and Elizabeth.
Tumultuous for sure.
Sensational Sherry shows up here and there. She's also going to show up here tonight. But then also the match made in hell is Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior teaming up to take on... What do they call the team? It is the Triangle of Terror. That's what it is. It's Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, and General Adnan. So we're still in the Sergeant Slaughter as an Iraqi sympathizer going on here. But I think we're reaching the end of that at this point. But anyway, on commentary tonight we have Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper playing the babyface color commentator. Well, of course, Bobby the Brain Heenan, the heel commentator. And at this point, Bobby Heenan has kind of moved away from managing wrestlers. He's moved over to just doing commentary, although we have Ric Flair arriving in the WWF at this point.
That's wild.
And so, yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
So we will talk more when we get to that segment. But Bobby Heenan is kind of managing Ric Flair, but being a commentator. But one thing we don't see on this, we watched the Peacock version of the pay-per-view because obviously it's what's available to us.
Right.
But there's a dark match that happens before that we don't get to see.
Oh, snap.
Coco Beware defeats Kato. And apparently he won from a top rope dropkick. I don't know if that's correct because I didn't see it. And AI told me that's how it went. And AI is often wrong. Don't trust the machines.
Somebody asked Coco.
Yeah, someone asked Coco.
Coco.
But from what we actually see, the show starts off with a 6-man tag team match. We've got the British Bulldog, Ricky Steamboat, who's just billed as the Dragon at this point.
This was such a cool match to watch.
Yeah. And we have Texas Tornado as well, which of course is Kerry Von Erich. And they are fighting the Warlord and Power and Glory, which is Hercules and Paul Roma. So it's funny, this time, like, Ricky Steamboat had just come back. He had already been wrestling for WWF as Ricky Steamboat, and he went to WCW, and he came back, and they wanted to redo his character. So now he's just the Dragon, and he has to come out wearing like these dragon wings and scales, and he would like blow fire and stuff. And apparently he did not like this gimmick that much.
I mean,
he didn't think he would have to do it at every show. They're like, no, we'll just play it up, the gimmick, like on the big pay-per-views and stuff. And then once they saw him do it, they're like, no, you're doing it at every house show.
Yeah.
Every dark match you're fighting, you're still doing the whole breathing fire and everything. Also, and then of course,
did they make him learn to breathe fire to do that, or did he already knew?
He had to go down to Florida and meet up with like a circus performer who taught him how to blow.
He was
fire.
Running shows at the Universal Orlando Studios, and for one of the people, I don't know, I'm making something up.
In an interview, he said that they had like a circus tent set up in like this parking lot. And when the guy was training him, he's like, look, it's easy. All you have to do is like, you have kerosene in your mouth and you spit it. You have to spray it when you spit it so that it creates a fireball with the torch.
You have the
first time the guy does it to teach him, the wind catches it and blows it in his face and burns his face.
Oh my God.
The guy who's teaching him.
That is a sign.
So he's like, this is a great start. All right.
That's a bad omen if I've ever seen one.
So, of course, we have Texas Tornado here, Kerry Von Erich. So, he, again, another guy who's like, we're not going to use your real name. Let's just give you some weird gimmick name. We see a lot of that in this era. He looked good, though. Yeah, oh, God, yeah, he looked great. And, of course, with British Bulldog as well. He's good. Ricky Steamboat looking tiny compared to all these other guys in the ring. So, we can see from the competitors of this match that the steroid scandal has not yet hit the WWF wrestlers, as many of them are roided up.
They're ready to go.
But Steamboat, of course, he's dazzling with the aerial moves. The crowd goes crazy for Hercules and Bulldog, as they are both legal men at one point. They have a standoff in the match, and the place erupts. It's awesome. But the Dragon rolls up Roma for a pin, and Hercules tries to clothesline the Dragon to break up the pin, and the Dragon ducks under it, and the ref just stops counting. Like, dude, I get that the guy entered the ring, but you don't stop counting the pin. What the hell?
Yeah.
So what the hell, referees? But the Dragon takes a beating until finally the Texas Tornado gets the hot tag. Warlord almost pins Tornado, but just barely reaches out to get the tag to Bulldog. The commentators mentioned that the ref is losing control of this match. Yeah, no shit. Bulldog hits his signature power slam on Paul Roma, but then he tags Dragon so Dragon can get the win. He does his top rope cross-body dive into the pin. Ricky Steamboat is your winner, and Ricky Steamboat would be done with WWF weeks later and would return to WCW. So it's short-lived Dragon run here.
But that was a great match. But yeah, when I was little, I think watching how small those referees are compared to these guys in that ring, it's like,
oh yeah,
and you're making the rules here.
Not so much nowadays. The wrestlers are much smaller nowadays.
Yeah, they are.
But so your winners, Bulldog, Dragon, and Texas Tornado. And then of course we go backstage. Sean Mooney is with Mr. Perfect. So Mooney begins to introduce Mr. Perfect as the Intercontinental Champion, but Mr. Perfect interrupts him. Also, Mr. Perfect is here with. He doesn't have Bobby the Brain Heenan with him anymore, so he's got the Coach. Yeah. Not Jonathan Coachman, just some guy named the Coach, who, much like Alfonso in ECW, he just has a whistle that he blows on all the freaking time and annoys everybody.
Yeah, I think this is the first time I've seen Mr. Perfect without Bobby.
Yeah, without Bobby Heenan. So Mr. Perfect interrupts him. He says, "Get it right, Mooney. The greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. History will be made tonight. Excellence of execution versus perfection. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect. Well, Bret Hitman Hart. The Intercontinental belt says Wrestling Champion on it. And for you to be a champion, you have to be perfect. You are excellent, but you are not perfect. there is only one Mr. Perfect, and you're looking at him. So yeah, that's the whole story going into this. You got perfect versus the excellence of execution, and apparently this was just week after week the same promo that he would cut on Bret Hart, going, "You're excellent, but you're not perfect. Excellent, perfect, excellent, perfect." So that is the match we're going to next. The Intercontinental Championship is on the line for Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect. It's a technical masterpiece. And actually, it is a very well wrestled technical match here. And surprising because Mr. Perfect is very injured at this point. He's got back injury.
And ouch.
Yeah. Apparently he broke his tailbone and had bulging discs. So this was kind of the match to get the title off of him. And Vince wanted to push Bret Hart.
He really went all in.
Yeah.
I mean, bulging disc.
Exactly. The fact that he's wrestling this match, and it's a good match.
That'll trigger a memory.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So surprisingly, he said he was happy to put Bret Hart over. He's like, yes, let me go ahead and have a match with him so I can lose to him and kind of pass the torch to Bret Hart so he can leave and go get back surgery. Mm-hmm. So Perfect goes for a pin near the ropes. But Bret kicks out at 2, so Perfect starts yelling at Hebner. I don't know which Hebner this is, if this is Earl Hebner or Dave Hebner, but probably Earl. But yeah, he's just shoving him and yelling at him. Bret kicks out of the Perfect Plex, which was a big deal. Heenan says, nobody has kicked out of the
crowd
Perfect
went
Plex.
Crazy, too.
They went nuts. I love that.
That was a pop.
I love those big moments where it's just like you expect something and then it's just, holy shit, someone kicked out of that. Or when someone kicks out of a finish at like 1, it's like, holy, he didn't even get 2. That's crazy. But Bret reversed a leg drop into the sharpshooter. So that's at one point, Mr. Perfect trying to wear down the legs. Actually, he keeps getting yelled at by the referee because he's kind of going for low blows. And the referee's like, that's a little close. He's spreading Bret Hart's legs and just doing a leg drop in between his legs to his inner thighs, which is legal. But it's like, that's a little too close to the crotch region. But finally, he does it one too many times. Bret Hart grabs his legs, turns it into a sharpshooter, and then he taps right away.
Yeah.
But also, at one point, they go outside before the end, and Bret rips Mr. Perfect's singlet. Yeah. And so now he's just wrestling with like half a singlet on, and then at the end of the match, at the end of the match, he tries to run away, and Bret grabs him by the singlet and rips it off of him. So he's just in little black trunks, trying to run away. And then we also see Bret's parents in the crowd. And holy crap! So they go in. Lord Albert Hayes goes in to interview Stu Hart in the crowd after the match, and he's like, "How do you feel seeing your son win the Intercontinental title live here?" And then as soon as he starts answering, Lord Albert Hayes just grabs the mic around from him. He's like, "Okay, whatever, we can't hear." Like, dude, you didn't even give him a chance to answer. He's like, moving on, that's fine. Because I think he says like one word. He's like, "It's incredible," and he's like, "Nope, we're done."
I loved this next one so much too.
Oh yeah. So we go backstage and your winner and new Intercontinental Champion, Bret the Hitman Hart. I gotta say that after every match. Give you so you know exactly who won. But yeah, we go backstage and Mean Gene is backstage with the Bushwhackers and Andre the Giant. Mean Gene shows a clip from an in-ring interview he was doing with Andre where Jimmy Hart was going to announce that he was going to be Andre's manager. But then Jimmy called Andre a liar, and Andre grabbed Jimmy Hart, and then Earthquake attacked Andre with a megaphone, targeting his knee. So this is just an excuse so that Andre the Giant could be on crutches on TV because his back was so bad. Like, this was like end of his career. He would pass away January 93. So not too long after this. So yeah, Andre is not in great shape. So they just had to give an excuse for like why he would be on crutches for this. So they show what's going on. So Andre now he's pissed off with Earthquake, and Earthquake has teamed up with Typhoon to create the natural disasters. Because Typhoon before this was Tugboat. or tug job, as some people call them. So yeah, the next match is a tag team match. The Natural Disasters versus the Bushwhackers.
Dude, I was laughing so hard.
I will sometimes walk around my house doing the Bushwhackers.
I love the Bushwhackers.
the walk.
I did not know I was going to enjoy this.
Oh, there's so
much when
Butch
I sat
and
down
Luke,
to watch it.
The Bushwhackers.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So yeah, Andre is in the corner of the Bushwhackers. At one point, Butch bites Typhoon's ass. That's a move. That's a wrestling move in this match.
I love
I'm
it.
gonna bite your ass.
I'll take 14 of them.
And then they also the Bushwhackers use Earthquake as a battering ram and ram his head into Typhoon's belly. Heenan at one point during this match hears that Hogan is in the building, so he leaves the commentary desk to go to have a word with Hogan. So the original plan was to have Jake Roberts and Andre versus the Natural Disasters, but Andre is in no shape to wrestle at this point, obviously. So they have changed it to the they've changed it to the Bushwhackers. Earthquake hits the big splash on Butch, and he gets the pin. And then, of course, after the match, Andre is ready to fight off the Disasters with his crutches. He's swinging at the Natural Disasters, and then LOD comes out and gets between them. Legion of Doom force the Disasters back into the ring, and then LOD and the Bushwhackers enter the ring, but Jimmy Hart and the Natural Disasters quickly escape down the ramp and book it to the back. And then backstage we have Bobby Heenan. Of course, he got up from the desk and he ran to the back because he needs to talk to Hogan. And we see why. So he goes to... Obviously, Hogan is definitely not here for this. We just see his locker room door. It just says
crazy.
Hulk on it. They just have a tape sign that says Hulk on it.
Yeah.
So Bobby Heenan, you see him go up to the door, and he's there just to tell Hogan that he is not the real champion because Ric Flair is showing up, and Ric Flair is the real world's champion. Do you know what that means, Lacey?
What does that mean?
It means that he still has the belt from WCW with him. This is what really happened. So Ric Flair got fired from WCW, and he was the champ at the time. So basically, Bill Hurd wanted to pay Ric Flair less. And he also wanted to like change his gimmick and then push Lex Luger as the champ, not Ric Flair. And Ric Flair's like, screw you, I'm Ric Flair. I can go anywhere else. So he called up Vince and was basically like, yeah, hey, I'm a free agent now. And Vince is like, okay, cool, come work for me. And then he goes, also, I have the WCW belt. And Vince is like, bring it with you. Because
That's hilarious.
At the time,
bring it with you.
At the time, if you were the WCW champion or NWA, it was kind of at the time. I can't remember if it was still NWA, WCW, or what. Anyway, the big gold belt. If you were the champion, in order to carry the big gold belt with you, they required a deposit from you. It was $25,000. So when you give the belt back, they give you your deposit back with interest. But they never paid him back for the belt. So the belt legally was his. So they decided to just start using it on television. Of course, WCW.
That's amazing.
As soon as they saw that, they're like, "Oh, we're
Loves
suing."
it.
So eventually, they had to start blurring the belt off on.
They
blurring
sued
it out on
him?
TV. Yes,
And they did. They blurred it out.
they blurred it out on TV, and apparently he would bring it out on house shows. He would actually have the big gold belt, but on TV he'd bring out like one of the tag team belts. And they would just blur it out and say it was they never called it the WCW title. They would just say the real world title.
That's actually hilarious.
That's how they got around it. So, yeah.
I love it.
Like, fun little history there. So, we see Bobby Heenan back there, and he's just basically telling Hogan, even though we don't see Hogan, that Ric Flair is the real world champ. You're not the real world champ. Ric Flair is blah, blah. He's going to come over here and defeat you. And then Hogan just slams the door in his face. Next, we see Macho Man backstage. He's on the phone talking about being nervous for their wedding. We don't know who he's talking to. We find out later that he's just on a hotline. he's doing the WWF hotline.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting a little nervous here. Yeah, and I think, Elizabeth is nervous too, but it's good. Yeah, it's good and nervous.
So then we go to Sean Mooney, who is speaking to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and Sensational Sherry. Mooney reminds us of all the times that Ted DiBiase has humiliated Virgil and made him do all his dirty work. And
dude,
he made him like clean his feet.
Yeah, cleaning his feet,
like,
talking to him like dirt.
Yeah,
throwing around words like master. I'm your dude. I was appalled,
yeah.
and I loved Virgil.
Yeah.
He's hilarious, and
he would drop the money on the
he deserved
mat and then make him pick it up.
Dude, disgusting.
So tonight, Virgil's gonna get finally, some comeback.
He's gonna get his lick back.
Yep. Ted DiBiase is going to get his comeuppance because the next match, the $1 Million Championship, is on the line. It's not officially recognized by WWF as an official title, but it means something to Ted DiBiase, which that's enough. Virgil needs to take it away from that man.
Yep.
So Virgil starts off by on fire, just attacking and beating the shit out of Ted DiBiase in this match. But DiBiase turns the tides. Virgil locks in the $1 Million Dream on Ted DiBiase at one point, which of course is Ted DiBiase's own finisher. But Sherry runs in and hits him with her purse, causing
what?
a DQ. So just minutes into the match, the ref calls for the bell, and that's it. DQ.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But wait, we hear Howard Finkel on the mic, and he says that the referee has every right to DQ Ted DiBiase in his match, and obviously on DQ, title doesn't change hands, even though the title isn't official. But what he decides to do instead is eject Sherry from ringside. You're out of here. And restart the match so everyone's happy. Everyone's there to see Virgil defeat Ted DiBiase, especially Roddy Piper on commentary during this. It's just like a cheerleader.
Loved that.
I love that. He's just like, he even kisses his head when he comes out. Virgil comes out and he grabs Virgil and just like leans up, like gives his head a kiss.
So sweet.
Head. And yeah, the whole time he's just like, you can do it, Virgil. So the ref actually decides, as I said, he ejects Sherry. The match is restarted. The ref takes a bump at one point because refs are made out of paper. And if you just blow too much wind near them, it knocks them over. But at one point, the turnbuckle is exposed. Ted DiBiase rips the turnbuckle pad off while the ref is knocked out. And then Virgil... he goes to slam Virgil's head into the exposed turnbuckle, but Virgil reverses it and slams Ted's head into the turnbuckle. They both go down. Is he going to get up? The ref starts counting, giving them a 10 count to get to their feet, and Virgil crawls to Ted DiBiase, puts his arm over him. 1, 2, 3. Yes!
Yay!
Virgil has defeated his boss. Finally, Virgil is the new $1 Million Champion, even though it's not recognized by WWF. But we go backstage.
I love an underdog moment.
Oh yeah, this was the ultimate underdog moment, and I'm glad we got to watch it. I've never seen that match, and that was fun. Of course, we go backstage, and Mean Gene is with the Mountie. They show us footage of the Mountie with the Nasty Boys, and they have Bossman handcuffed to the ropes, and the Mountie is shocking him with a cattle prod. This was
so shocking to me.
This was years before Scott Hall did it to Goldberg in WCW. So yeah, they were copying this, obviously.
Blueprint moment.
Yeah. So back to Mean Gene, and the Mountie tells him that the
cop
local
versus cop.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude.
Evil cop versus good cop. Because Big Boss Man is the baby face in this. And
that is
Mountie's
crazy work.
I love babyface Boss Man. So back to Gene, and Mountie tells him that the local New York police that he's talking to the police and tells them that when he wins, he doesn't want them to arrest Boss Man the New York way. He wants them to do it the Mountie way, and barks orders at them, telling them how to do it. Yeah, that's not going to turn out well for you, buddy. You shouldn't be barking orders at New York's finest. And then Sean Mooney is backstage with Big Boss Man. Mooney says, Big Boss Man, after what we just witnessed, it is clear there is no question in the mind of the Mountie just who is going to win the Jailhouse match tonight. And then Boss Man cuts a promo. Lacey, do us the honors, please. You got it pulled up. You want to see mine?
Yeah.
That's right there. Where it says Boss Man.
I can't yell.
That's fine.
Into it. Or I could, but I don't want to make this pop. But he was screaming in this. I believe the Mountie has the wrong idea. He should be out there talking to New York City's finest on how to treat me. He should be on his hands and knees talking to the man upstairs, praying to God that he makes it through until tomorrow morning. Because he's going to be the one who spends a long, hard night in jail.
Oh my God. Hell yeah. My God, it is time for the Jailhouse Match. So the stipulation obviously is whoever loses this has to spend the night in a New York City jail. So it's red versus blue in this. Obviously, red, the Mountie. Blue is Big Boss Man. And Jimmy Hart is out there in the Mountie's corner. Jimmy Hart managing a lot of heel teams and just guys throughout this entire event.
Hulk Hogan's bestie.
I mean, he's yelling at Boss Man through his megaphone the entire time, which is hilarious. Just every now and then you hear just
stupid
like, Jimmy Hart with his high pitch is like, "Big Boss Man, you're gonna lose." The Mountie manages to pile drive Big Boss Man. And also, Boss Man hits the Boss Man slam on the Mountie, and the Mountie kicks out. Hell no. Not in this country, guys.
Not in this country.
Not in the United States.
This is America.
This is America. This ain't Canada. But it's all right because
my God.
Boss Man hits him with the Alabama slam.
That's right, boy.
Uses that for his finisher. I was like, holy shit, that might be a good finisher for him.
You know what? It's kind of ties together.
Yeah. I mean, Cobb County is not in Alabama.
No.
But they could have called it the Cobb County Slam or something like that. But yeah, he finishes off with an Alabama Slam and gets the 3. That's that easy. Big Boss Man beat the shit out of the Mountie.
Man, but he hit, what is that? Oh man, I don't know the name of the move, but he had Dad upside down. What is that called?
Pile driver?
Yeah, a pile driver?
Yeah.
That was terrifying to watch.
Yeah, pile drivers are scary.
I was like, holy, I don't know how many times my dad probably let somebody do a pile driver to him.
Big guys usually don't take pile
because
drivers.
I saw that and I was like, whoa. Like, I don't really think I've seen him get a pile driver. Have you?
No, I don't think so. And pile drivers are, I think, still banned in WWE.
Like, I had never seen that. I was like, oh, yeah, he trusts him. For sure.
Definitely. So, of course, immediately as soon as the match ends, the cops are out there. Boss Man helps the cops. They carry the Mountie kicking and screaming backstage.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah,
I am the Mountie! I am the Mountie!
I am the law! And so they throw him in the paddy wagon, and the New York City's finest take him away. They throw the sirens on everything, drive all the way out, down the street. Camera follows them the whole way. So we will check in later with the Mountie and see how he's doing as he gets booked in jail in New York City. But at this point, we're kind of at the halfway point of the show, and so we just get a follow-up from all the competitors who worked the show already tonight. So this is kind of cool. It's like an intermission. I was like, oh, they should do this now.
Yeah.
I would love an intermission, but I think there's we have so much stuff to do. We need to just keep it going.
And they could always do more.
Yeah.
You could always do more.
So we could fill up more time. So, So Mean Gene is backstage with Ted DiBiase and Sherry, who are losing their minds over what just happened in the match against Virgil. They're not taking it well. Sean Mooney, though, is also with the new Intercontinental champion, Bret the Hitman Hart. He says he's waited a long time for this day, and it feels good, and tells Mr. Perfect that there's no such thing as perfect. Mr. Perfect, you just weren't good enough.
Oh.
Back to Mean Gene, who is with Jimmy Hart and the Natural Disasters. Jimmy Hart is freaking out because he also manages the Mountie. Of course, he was in that match. And he's like, oh my God, they've arrested him. Call my lawyers. We got to take care of this. Typhoon, he doesn't even care about Typhoon and Earthquake right now. Yeah. But they, Typhoon and Earthquake, call out LOD because obviously the way that ended, we're setting up for Legion of Doom versus the Natural Disasters, which the entire time I'm thinking, how are they going to do the Doomsday device on those big boys? I don't want to be the one lifting either of them up on my shoulders, and I don't think they do the Doomsday device to them. If they do, maybe they do. I need to check it out, the clip of that match.
Check the follow-up.
Check the files. Check the
Zerpy, check the files.
Then we go back to Sean Mooney, who is with the Big Boss Man. Mooney says, "Big Boss Man, you have to be very happy. We just saw the Mountie. He's on his way to spend the night with the New York City police." So we got another promo here from Boss Man.
Sean Mooney, what kind of bird can't fly? A jailbird. That's exactly what the Canadian Mountie is. This is just a small sample of what you've got to look forward to. That ride downtown, you got to look forward to getting booked and thrown around in that cell with God knows who. But the plain and the simple fact is, I promise everybody in this country, every man, woman, and child, that I am the law and order in the World Wrestling Federation, and that is a fact. No more questions. Canadian Mountie, you're just a criminal and a bad cop. I am the law and order, plain and simple.
There we go. Just plain and simple from the Big
Plain and
Boss Man.
simple.
You're getting thrown in that cell with God knows who, and we will find out who later.
Oh, no.
The one disappointing part of this is like, oh, that's the joke they make at the end. We'll get to it eventually. Back to Mean Gene, who is trying to get a word with Macho Man, who is apparently, this is where we find out he's actually on the phone with fans on the 1-900 hotline.
They're really pushing this.
It's
This
like-
must be the final date. Wait, no, this is the early.
Yeah, this is early. So this is
It's really popping off.
Macho Man is getting married today. He's getting ready for his wedding, and he's talking to fans on the phone.
Oh my goodness.
So Gene tries to get Macho's attention, but he's on the phone. So Gene says he'll try and talk to Miss Elizabeth in the dressing room next door instead. But that finally gets Macho Man's attention. He's like,
Oh, no, you won't. Yeah, you're going to stay right here.
so yeah, and he goes. He tries to get Gene to stay. He's like,
No, you get on the phone, too. It'll be a party line.
Oh my goodness.
So this seems to be an actual intermission I put here. It's just back and forth between Sean Mooney and Mean Gene interviewing everybody. And then we keep cutting back to the Mountie, who's getting booked at the police station now. They drag him in there. He's still complaining. They want to get his fingerprints, but he doesn't want to give them the finger. He actually gives them the middle finger, and then they grab his hand while his middle finger's up, and they print it. He's like, "Dang it!" Like, you got me.
That was brilliant.
They go through a one gate that closes behind him, and then he's like, no, okay, fine, I'll work with you guys. And they kind of like loosen their grip on him, and he immediately tries to run out the door. They close the door behind him though. Like right away, he's like, "Oh, I'm out of here." Like, dude, you're not going anywhere. Eventually, they finally throw him in a jail cell with a couple people in there, and then one of them comes up, and they just turn into a gay joke.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "Oh, you're gonna have fun tonight," or something like that. Just a guy who's
Don't
just
you
putting
love
on-
the feeling of leather against your skin?
That's what it was. Oh my god.
or something.
And I was like, yeah, this is 1991. That seems about right.
Yeah.
Just roll my eyes at that.
But wrestlers do tend to love leather.
This is true.
You know?
Have you seen with Demolition?
My dad had a shit ton of leather stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a whole. Your dad was a biker, so yeah. We saw him wearing leather
Do you
pants a lot in
remember?
WCW.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that's Bubba.
That's Bubba. So, yeah, we hear from the Nasty Boys and LOD, who have a street fight coming up next. Mooney talks to Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, and General Adnan, who will be taking on Hogan and Warrior later on. Gene talks with Sid Justice, who will be the special guest referee in that match, in the match made in hell.
Such a beast.
And there is, yeah, and he just showed up too, I think, from WCW at this point.
Yeah.
There's a clip from earlier in the day where Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, and General Adnan approach Sid backstage, and they try to get him to join the team, and Sid's like, no. I do not accept this offer. So right away, though, people are like, oh, what side is he on? Whose side is he on? Is he taking sides here? And there's no indication that he is.
Yeah.
Like Sid Justice is like, no, I'm calling right down the middle. I also have the action figure of Sid in the referee gear. They made
Nice.
it was a 2-in-1 action figure. It was great because he has the referee gear and then you can take it off and he's got his red singlet from WCW. So it's cool. It's a cool
Sweet.
action figure. So yeah, we're going to. Sid does not accept the offer. He insists that he will not choose sides, and tonight justice will be served. But now it's time for the Tag Team Championship street fight: Legion of Doom versus the Nasty Boys. Okay, now this confuses me because it's a street fight. Why are there tags? It's a street fight. There should not be any tags. Anything goes.
It should be on the street.
That
in
too.
front of the people.
In front of the people.
In front of the people of the world.
So Jimmy Hart is out here with the Nasty Boys. And apparently the Nasty Boys have it in their contract that every match they have while they are champs is a title match. So they always have to defend the titles in every match. So that's pretty cool. I like that. They are working champions. The Legion of Doom.
Is that their choice?
I don't know. I don't know if that was their choice. It didn't actually say.
Probably not.
Maybe they're like, I don't want to defend the titles.
That sounds like
That sucks. So this is kind of a squash match. Legion of Doom hot start the match. I do put here requiring tags in a no DQ match is weird. It's supposed to be a wild brawl with weapons. Anything goes, but we don't see too much of that. We do see a motorcycle helmet. Jimmy Hart throws a motorcycle helmet over the ropes into the ring to the Nasty Boys, and they hit Animal with it. But then they then go outside and scare Jimmy Hart into throwing it up into the air.
Yeah.
And then
it was a cartoonish moment.
Exactly. We're just like, whoa, throws up in the air.
Yes.
And then they, of course, LOD gets to use the motorcycle helmet against the Nasty Boys. And Nasty Boys obviously lose this match. LOD beat the shit out, and LOD is just crowd favorites. They love them. They are going crazy for LOD. They are over. Check out my figure photography on my Instagram page. I recently did some Legion of Doom and Steiner Brother.
That was a really cool shot.
Stuff. So I did one where
all of your shots are amazing.
But I did one where the Steiner Brothers are hitting the Steinerizer on Hawk, and then another one where Hawk and Animal are hitting the Doomsday Device on Rick Steiner. So yeah, if you go one way, you got to go back the other way too. Coming up next, though, we have your winners and new WWF Tag Team Champions. Title change: the Legion of Doom. But coming up next, we have a singles match: the debuting IRS versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. So this is the pay-per-view debut of the IRS character. So Mike Rotunda, who plays IRS, was in the WWF from 1984 to 1986, but then he left and went to WCW, and then he developed kind of this character of IRS. The spin-off would become IRS, but the character of Michael Wall Street in WCW in like 1990, I think.
Yeah.
Where he was managed by Alexandra York, aka Terry Reynolds.
Terry!
And
Terry! We love Terry.
So he's managed by Terry Reynolds and a computer. So they had it was the late 80s, early 90s. So like Terry, a computer was like a big deal.
Terry will be at 90s WrestleCon up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's awesome.
This month.
Everyone go and see Terry. Is she doing like a meet and greet or anything? Signing? That's awesome.
She's doing a signing up there.
Hell yeah. So. Go get your picture taken or autographed with Terry Reynolds. But yeah, they would use the computer to just basically like as strategy, where it's like, here, crunch the numbers, and like so they can figure out if like he would win the match or not before they even have the match, which is ridiculous because right now I don't even think I can't even have AI give me a breakdown of this pay-per-view that's accurate. No. So I don't think that really worked.
Erwin R. Shyster.
Which
Erwin R. Shyster.
Roddy Piper loved saying Erwin this entire match. He kept saying it weird where he'd like go high pitched, but his voice doesn't go that high, so he just kind of like
I love Roddy on commentary.
Roddy is fun, especially this babyface Roddy. Just to counteract Bobby the Brain Heenan was very fun. So IRS starts by cutting a heel promo on the crowd in the ring, talking about how they don't pay their taxes and all this shit. But this is a slower paced kind of technical match. Not that great. Valentine is past his prime. Greg the Hammer Valentine. But yeah, IRS used the ropes for leverage during a pin, apparently. I don't know if that's correct. Again, AI. Holy shit. But the finish is Greg Valentine goes to put IRS in a figure four, but IRS rolls him up into a pin, surprisingly. 1, 2, 3, your winner, Erwin R. Shyster. So,
Love the gimmick.
I love it.
Love it.
It's also similar to your dad's gimmick, where he had to wrestle in slacks and a button-up shirt and very sweaty.
Yeah.
Like Mike Rotunda might be the sweatiest wrestler I've ever seen. He just walks out there, doesn't even do a move yet, and he's covered in sweat. But yeah, kind of a weird... I can't imagine wrestling in like that gear that he wrestled in, your dad wrestled in as well. Where it's just like, I'm just fully clothed. Although we did see his.
Would you rock a singlet or?
I think I'd
like.
Ooh,
what do they call like?
There's tights. Those are the long boys.
Yeah,
tights. Trunks are like the underwear. You got shorts. You got like biker shorts.
Okay.
Whatever. And then you got singlets. And then you got whole body suits and stuff.
What do you think you would?
I would, if I had the body for it, I would do the tights, I think.
Okay.
I think I'd tight. Like every time I make a wrestler in a video game, I go tights.
Okay.
Tights are good. Or even the tights, singlet tights, kind of like Bret Hart wears.
Yeah.
Where he's got the long tights and the singlet top.
Yeah, I like Bret Hart's.
Yeah.
Too.
That's a good look. I like that. I would probably go with that. I changed my answer. I go with that.
Do you have any wrestling that you're gonna be seeing coming up?
No.
Do you know about?
Not that I know of. No.
Anything coming? Okay, sorry, I ADHD'd it there.
I learned from local wrestling events from you.
Yeah.
You'll basically tell me like who's putting on a wrestling show and if I'll go or not. But yeah, Mean Gene now is backstage with Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. So we actually get to see Hulk Hogan on camera this time. They each cut promos on the Triangle of Terror and finish in unison by saying, "And what you gonna do when the Hulkster and the Ultimate Warrior destroy you?" And then Warrior moves in for a kiss. he grabs Hulk Hogan by the head like he just like looks deeply into his eyes like, "Oh, I want to smooch you so much." And you know what? I think maybe in the afterlife they are smooching now in the afterlife.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. They each cut promos on the... Oh, yeah, I already said that. So they do their... I'm not going word for word promos, especially Ultimate Warrior. His promos are just... They don't make sense.
We're changing up the format a bit, guys. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, we're doing a much looser... Especially for, a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
I don't want to write down every single thing that happens. So, yeah, this was
a commitment.
It was more enjoyable to just watch loose and just be like, oh, cool. I'm just going to enjoy this. Although I sat down on the couch down here where it reclines and I had it on the TV. And then I was watching this match, the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior match, and started falling asleep. And I was like, I'm too comfortable. I need to do something else. But I was just like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Which is not like anything against the match.
Well,
it was a good match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was too comfortable. So yeah, it's time for the main event. If you would call this the main event, we still have an event after this, but let's call this the main event because it's the last wrestling match on the card. Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior versus the Triangle of Terror. So, I do need to put here, though, during this time, Warrior was actually in the middle of a storyline with Jake Roberts and The Undertaker with Paul Bearer. So, yeah, Jake Roberts tricked Warrior to, kind of being on his side against The Undertaker, but then turns out that Jake was actually working with The Undertaker and tricked Ultimate Warrior, and then tells him, he's like, you never trust a snake, because of course he's going to turn on you.
Yeah, because a snake... it sheds its skin. It's still a fucking snake.
Yeah. So those are two guys missing from this pay-per-view. Jake Roberts and Undertaker are nowhere to be found here. But Warrior is teaming up with Hogan for some reason. Probably because they're like the two biggest names at the time. They're the fan favorites. Everyone wants to see Hogan and Warrior together. So Sid Justice is also your special referee for this match. I bet
they sold a lot of merch.
Oh, yeah.
They looked good together.
They are merch sellers.
The flames coming up, in the beginning, I was laughing so hard because the graphics are so 90s.
Yes. For SummerSlam.
It was so amazing.
And this is the second biggest show of the year next to WrestleMania. SummerSlam is always a big deal. So, and then also I believe they did a Ultimate Edition figure of this Ultimate Warrior look. From this, even with the entrance jacket and everything. I don't have that one because there's so many Ultimate Warrior action figures that I have to draw a line at some point. I'm like, I don't need any more Ultimate Warriors. There's too many. But yeah, just want to say they did make an action figure of this. So Sid turned down a big title run in WCW to come to WWF for this. Anyway, at the start of the match, Sid has to stop Slaughter from using a belt as a weapon. Sergeant Slaughter takes his belt off and he's just like, well, I'm just going to hit him with this. And Sid's like, no, absolutely not. You will not. So everyone's like, okay, good. Sid, he's going to call it down the middle. He's not taking sides. And then Hogan at one point forces Slaughter into the corner. And then Sid starts doing the count. And then even before he gets to 5, I think he only gets to 3. And then he just breaks it up, and he's like getting in Hogan's face, like, when I start counting, you gotta stop it. Yeah. And it's weird because Hulk Hogan, even when he was a babyface, would do like heel moves. He would always go for an eye gouge and stuff. I'm like, it was so weird. Like, going back and watching these old Hulk Hogan matches, it's like, did you know how to actually be a babyface? It kind of worked out better when he was Hollywood. So. When he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan and the bad guy, when he could cheat and everything, it kind of made more sense. So anyway, but we see that obviously Sid is calling it down the line because he's called out both of them, each team. Warrior chased General Adnan and Colonel Mustafa to the back with a chair at one point. And then Hulk Hogan Hulk Hogan, also doing another heel move, throws powder in the face of Sergeant Slaughter as Sid's back is turned while Warrior was chasing them away. And then he turns around and Hogan hits the leg drop. And then they count the pin. You're winners, Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. And then during Hulk Hogan's post-match celebration, so Sid leaves the ring, goes back to the back, and Hogan's out there. He's posing and everything, doing the ear, and doing all the...
He's really going in.
And the crowd's eating it up. They're playing Real American. And then... He calls Sid to come back out there, and Sid pokes his head through the curtain. He's like looking. He's like, huh?
That was so funny.
And then he comes out there, and then he poses with Hogan in the ring, and Hogan's kind of putting Sid over here.
Sid that's a big boy.
Oh, he's a big boy. Yeah,
that's a big guy.
He's huge here. So this is where actually we see the final clip of the Mountie in jail, and I put it here, and it's a gay joke. But now it's time for the wedding, a match made in heaven. The wedding of Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth, billed as a match made in heaven, took place in the ring after the main event. The ring was decorated with flowers and candles, and they have like an altar that they built there. And we see a clip of Macho Man proposing to Elizabeth in the ring with Mean Gene. Mean Gene was there for the proposal. And it took way too long. It's just, it's him really like working up the courage to ask her. And it just kept going on forever. Like, get to it finally. And you can hear people in the crowd just yelling for him to like get down on one knee. And then he finally does. He gets the ring out, gets down on one knee, and everyone goes crazy. And of course, he asks her to marry him. And what's her answer? Oh, yeah. So,
oh my goodness.
So then we get a montage of clips of the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth set to a cheesy love song. Previously on TV, Sensational Sherry threatened to sabotage the wedding when she was a guest on the barbershop with Brutus Beefcake, but then that just doesn't happen. She does not interrupt this. In fact, nobody interrupts this. This is weird.
Because it's like...
There's been many wrestling weddings, televised wrestling weddings. They never go as planned. I was surprised that this went as planned.
It might be the only one to go as planned.
Well, it goes as planned. Well, first of all, they exchange vows, and when they finally ask Macho Man, "Do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?" He answers, "Ooh, yeah!" But then Miss Elizabeth just answers, "I do." And so
of course
that's
she does.
They play Pomp and Circumstance, which was his entrance music, which always feels weird because it's graduation music. So now it's a wedding with graduation music, but it's also just Macho Man's entrance music. So we don't get any interruptions here. It goes off without a hitch because we see what happens at the reception, but not here. We're watching the Peacock version of this. They just cut off after the wedding. They go off the air. That's it. But if you have the Coliseum home video version of this, we see the wedding reception where they cut the cake and shoved it in each other's faces and everything. And then they're opening their gifts. And Miss Elizabeth opens a box and there's a cobra inside. And then they get attacked by Jake the Snake and Undertaker with Paul Bearer. Undertaker hits Macho Man in the head with the urn and knocks him out cold. He's unconscious. And Jake the Snake corners Miss Elizabeth, who's just begging off in the corner with the...
Jesus.
She has the cobra in her face. And then who comes in to save the day but Sid Justice? He came to the wedding. And he comes in, he runs in with a chair and chases away Undertaker and Jake the Snake. And then that's it. So, of course, there's going to be a feud now with Savage and Jake Roberts. And I believe this is when he ties up Macho Man in the ropes and the Cobra bites Macho Man in the bicep, and he really thought that, like, what? He wasn't sure if Jake was being truthful to him about no, he's de-venomed, like, he's fine, he's just gonna bite
but
you,
I'm gonna make a snake.
He's like, am I gonna die? He's like, you better
Jesus.
not,
dude. You know, I have a snake.
You have a snake?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
She's like she's almost 6 feet, but a ball python.
Oh, cool.
She's a big girl, but
well, okay, so
she's
Jake,
14 years old.
Holy shit. How long do they live?
I don't know.
Are they like birds
25,
where they're just like they're there
20,
for life?
A long time, I guess.
Well, speaking of pythons, Jake's python, I believe his name was it Damien was the python?
Damien.
He just recently he was squashed. Well, in '91, he was squashed by earthquake. Now this was not real. They filled. It was in the bag.
Did you see my face?
You're like, oh no! It didn't really have. He didn't really squash him.
Okay.
The way they did it was he squashed the bag that Damien is usually in. And instead of Damien being in the bag, they actually had pantyhose filled with hamburger meat. And so when he did the Richter scale move and he squashed it, he just squashed some hamburger meat. And then I think he showed up later on like the next show. He had burgers that he was cooking out, and he said they were snake burgers. Because it was the meat from the actual pantyhose.
Oh.
But yeah. So, the snake died, and that's why he has a cobra now, because Damien was dead.
Oh, R.I.P. Damien.
R.I.P. Damien, even though Damien didn't actually die. Well, I'm sure maybe at this point.
A de-venomed cobra.
A de-venomed cobra.
Cobras are huge. They can get really big.
Why did it have to be snakes? Just always thinking of Indiana Jones. But yeah, that was it. So it's kind of disappointing that we don't get to see the follow-up on Peacock. I had to look other places to find out what happened after the wedding. Because I guess Vince decided, you know what?
Yeah.
We won't interrupt the wedding. We'll do a different segment so then we can just have a nice wedding here. But the truth is, Macho Man and Elizabeth were already married in 1984. So, in fact, they got divorced in 1992.
Oh.
So, yeah. They were actually ending
the way
this
to an
marriage.
ending, a separation.
But yeah, they were already married when Macho Man came to WWF, and when they met Miss Elizabeth, they're like, "Oh, she's great. Why don't we just make her an on-screen talent with you?" So that's how Miss Elizabeth became.
She just had aura.
Yeah, she did. Well, look at her. She's cute. She's super adorable. So, love seeing her on it. But yeah, that was SummerSlam 1991. And this was a much better way to cover a show.
Like
it's much easier for me. So expect more pay-per-views. I do believe that on the question mark, they suggested that we do Mr. Perfect versus Big Boss Man from what was that, WrestleMania that they fought? It was one of the WrestleManias.
Yeah.
So expect that in the future. We'll have to cover that as well.
For sure.
But yeah, that is it for this episode of the BubbaCast. Lacey, where can they find you online?
You can find us at the BubbaCast, of course, at Big Boss Man WWE, and at Lacey Abilene, and 2 A's in Lacey, Laacy. And you can figure it out. I don't want it to be that easy. I don't want it to be that easy.
Yeah, you gotta do some work. And of course, you can find me on Instagram, Zerpy_MD, for my action figure photography. And if you have any suggestions for what Big Boss Man or Big Bubba Rogers or Guardian Angel or whatever match you want to see from Ray Traylor, please give us suggestions. You can comment on our Instagram pages, or you can comment on the YouTube channel. And we want to hear from you. But that's it for this week. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.